Alright, buckle up, because this one's juicy. So, picture this. You're on vacation in London. You got your overpriced umbrella, a lukewarm coffee that calls itself a latte, and a vague hope of spotting a royal corgi. Suddenly, you hear murmurs. The crowd near Buckingham Palace is shifting, whispering, pointing. A black SUV door swings open like it's a Hollywood movie. And stepping out like he owns the block, the palace, the flag, and maybe even the pigeons, is Donald J. Trump.
Now, you may be wondering what's the Trump doing at Buckingham? Honestly, no one knows. Maybe he's sightseeing, maybe he's looking for business opportunities, or maybe, just maybe, he thinks the palace is a Mar-a-Lago extension pack. Whatever the reason, Trump's not exactly blinding in. Bright navy suit, red tie flapping in the wind like is trying to escape higher defying both gravity and reason. He walks like a man on a mission. And then he spots him. The guard. Now, let me explain something real quick for our international friends. The Royal Guard isn't just there for selfies and cinematic B-roll. These guys are trained military, armed, and stationed to protect royal grounds with absolute seriousness. They don't laugh, they don't chat, they don't flinch, even when a seagull is 1 inch from their eyeball. So what does Trump do? Oh boy, he walks up, gets real close, and snaps his fingers. Like this isn't a ceremonial soldier but a valet at the Trump Tower. Snap, loud, clear, arrogant, and you can just feel the temperature drop. The guard doesn't move, doesn't blink. The man is carved from royal granite. But the crowd, audible gasps. One lady clutches her pearls, a kid drops his Cadbury bar in slow motion. Now, here's where things get fishy. Trump seeing no reaction, tilts his hat. You know the look, that classic I'm fading face, the face that once fired 40 people in a row on TV. And then the guard moves on single clean military stomp, but the pavement echoed like a thunderclap. And then, in a voice so deep, so calm, so terrifyingly British, he says, Step away from the King's Guard. That's it. No yelling, no threats, just the kind of flowers that makes you question all your life choices. Trump, he's frozen for a split second, and I swear in that tiny pause you can hear the Queen's ghost mutter, finally. Then he does a little awkward look, you know, the one where your ego just look it hit but you pretend it didn't. He steps back, adjusts his tie, and for the first time in a while he doesn't speak. The tourist talk, losing it, phones up recording grandma's whispering to grandpa like she just witnessed a royal exorcism. A guy next to gate says, "Mate, that's going viral." And it did. Within hours, the clip made it to YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and probably MySpace somehow. Caption suggests, the day Britain snapped back. Trump tried, the guard denied it. When you snap like a boss, but gets caught by loyal silence. But here's the part no one saw how coming. The reaction after the video, not just from the crowd, not just from the tabloids, but from the palace, from the press, from pop people who weren't even there. This wasn't just a funny moment anymore, it turned into something else, a symbol, a meme, a line in the sand between pomp and ego. So now you are wondering what happened next. Did the palace make a statement? Did Trump respond? Did guard get promoted secret night of the snapback order? Oh yeah! You're gonna wanna stick around because this story is just getting started. Alright, so the snap was heard, the stone was delivered, and the silence that followed absolutely deafening. But silence doesn't last long in the age of internet. Because just 5 minutes after Trump stepped away in defeat, the first video hit TikTok and then like British tea at high noon, it started pouring everywhere. The clip spread faster than Trump's hair in the wind tunnel. First, it was a raw upload. No edits, no commentary, just pure humiliation in being 6p, and then came remixes. Dubstep, lo-fi, one kid sang it with the Avengers theme like the guard had just defeated Thanos with a sentence. And of course, the memes. Twitter exploded. This guard has more discipline than Congress. Trump snaps. Britain unsnaps him from reality. Someone posted a side-by-side of the guard and lion statue with the caption, "Spot the difference." Spoiler, you couldn't. Now, back across the Atlantic and the god all USFA things were divided naturally. One side screamed, "How dare they treat a former president like that?" While the other side replied, "He tried to order soldier like a Starbucks barista. He got was coming." And somewhere deep in Reddit thread titled "Presidential Files," someone wrote a 300-word essay arguing that the guard's response was actually a metaphor for post-colonial independence. Was it satire? Was it art? Who knows? But it got 40k upvotes and silver award. Meanwhile, over in the UK, things were going full Shakespearean. BBC analysts treated the event like it was a moon landing. Experts broke down the body language frame by frame. Notice how the guard doesn't even look at Trump. That the sacrifice of tradition kicking in right there. Even Piers Morgan got involved obviously. He tweeted, "The guard showed more dignity in one sentence than most politicians do in their entire careers. Bravo!" To which someone replied, "Finally something we're agree on." But here is where it gets spooky, because the palace said nothing. No statement, no clarification, no apology, just royal silence, the kind that echoes louder than any headline. But then they posted a photo, just one, a close-up shot of guard's boots, polished, immaculate, caption, "Tradition, that's it." And the internal lost its mind. Is that him? Is that the guy? But check conflict. That's the storm heard around the world. This is the most British this since the invention of sarcasm. Now, let's talk Trump. You'd think he was gonna stay quiet? Pfft. A day later, he called into low-level radio show. You know the kind that plays compressy advertisement between traffic updates and said, "Look, great guy, strong guy, he was doing his job." But honestly, maybe it's too serious. You gotta relax a little and like soldiers with a sense of humor, right? Because nothing says sense of humor like a man trying to stand perfectly still through riots, streets and drag Australians on tour buses. Back in London, something strange happened. The guard became a celebrity. People lined up the palace gate hoping to see him. Instagram models posed in front of him like he was a wax figure. Someone even tried to hand him a protein bar with a sticky note that read, "For the king of silence." He didn't move, he didn't blink. Legend says he didn't indicate the air. And soon it got bigger. A t-shirt line popped up overnight. Snap, thump, silenced. It sold out under 24 hours. Max phone cases. One guy even got tattooed off a guard with the words "Step away" in Gothic font. When asked why, he said, "Because that's how you handle clones with the too much power." So yeah, this wasn't just a viral moment. It was a cultural reset. A man snapped, a guard stomped, and the world paused, laughed, argued, and made memes. But here's a kicker, we still don't know who the guard was. No name, no background, no leaks, just 6 words. One stop and mystery. And now the question on everyone's mind is, who is she? A soldier, a legend, a royal enforcer trained shadows? Time to dig deeper, because the next part of this story, take us behind palace walls and into the life the man who silenced president without even raising his voice. So here is the thing, when someone shut down Donald Trump with one stop and 6-word sentence, that's not luck, that's not coincidence, that's not training. Deep, elite, probably comes with a manual written in Latin training. So the question is, who is this guy? And where do we find these perfectly missionless, utterly terrifying Iron Lunch warriors? Let's start with the basics. The Royal Guard, or more officially the King's Guard, isn't some ceremonial TikTok cosplay squad. These guys are active duty soldiers. They come from real regiments. Coldstream Guards, Grenadier Guards, Scot Guards, all with more history than some countries have Instagram followers. To even qualify to be one of the red-coded Stonefaces elites, you need basic military training, parade discipline, the ability to stare down an American billionaire without flinching. Okay, that's last one not on paper, but after the stomp, it might as well be. Now, here's where it gets even more British. One selected guards go through what's known as the public duties training. Sounds boring? It's not. This is where they learn how to stand still for hours, how they ignore tourists yelling, "I'll brew the stopping!" How they resist blinking when someone waves an ice cream cone 2 inches from your nose, and apparently, how to shut down a former US president like it's just another Tuesday. Some say they meditate, some say they train with monks, others claim they listen to queens. We will rock you on repeat to build rhythm, whatever, it work. But let's get personal. Who's the specific guard? Well, that's the thing. We don't know. No name, no interviews, no confirmation from the palace. He's become an urban legend, a red-coated myth with a stomp heard around the world. Some say his name is Harold. Others say it's due Unit 7. A few in Reddit are convinced it's just too corgis a trench coat. We may never know, but what we do know, he trained for years for that exact moment, and when the night time came, he executed it with surgical precision. Let's be honest, this wasn't just guard duty. It was performance art, it was diplomacy, it was silent British justice. One stop, one sentence, and suddenly Trump, a man famous for being the loudest guy in the room, became the quietest. But here's the craziest part, this isn't the first time a guard has gone viral. There was the time one stared down a drunk bachelor party from Liverpool of 70 minutes straight. Another time, a tourist believing airborne in his face and the guard didn't blink. The tourist blinked then ran. These guys are trained not just to defend the palace, but to defend vibe. So next time you are in London and you think about snapping your fingers at Royal Guard, remember, he's not a prop, he's not a grater, he's not going to laugh at joke. He's there, stand to stare, and when the moment calls for it, to stomp on your dignity with poise and elegance. Hello, Pickles! Let's talk about what didn't happen. No press conference, no royal statement, no polite, "we regret the misunderstanding." Instead, just silence. Elegant, strategic, weaponized silence. Because when the British monarchy doesn't say something, you better believe it means everything. Let's rewind. Trump snaps Scott's response, words got wild. And the palace posts a photo booth with the word tradition. That wasn't a caption, that was a message. A message set dates. This isn't new to us. This is centuries old policy. You just opened the film this time. According to palace insiders, and by insiders I mean retired budders on Twitter, what we witnessed might be I've been activation of something whispered about the royal circus. Protocol 40B, the silent correction, sounds like a Netflix thriller, right? But here's the gist. When a guest of political significance oversteps ceremonial boundaries, and quote, demonstrates behavior unbecoming of visiting dignitary. The guard is authorized to respond not with violence, not with scandal, but with dignified assertiveness. Translation: make them feel tiny without saying much at all. It happened before. Apparently in 1003, a Russian delegate tried to touch a guard's hat. One stomp, one stare, no further accident. In 4517, Saudi prince reportedly tried to walk past the Queen's stairs without bowing. Guard steps in silent note, global headlines. This is Diplomacy Folks British edition. Where American throw shows, Russian flags worships and Brits raise an eyebrow, renew carrier, but there's more. Some believe what we saw wasn't just protocol, it was a test. That's right. Certain diplomatic scholars say yes, they exist. Claim the guard's reaction is part of loyalty calibration maneuver. Basically, we want to see how you respond when the monarch draws the line. Will you back off, laugh it off, get defensive, snap again, Trump to discredit, choose the awkward tie adjustment and step back combo? Could have been worse. In 96-8, visiting Italian minister reportedly clapped near a guard face. The guard didn't move. The Queen did. She personally reduced the man's seating rank. At the next state dinner, he went from table 3 to table 18 next to the guy who handled royal upholstery. Brutal, but silence doesn't just protect the palace, it also creates myth. The less say they, the more fill in the blanks. Was the guard secret again? The prince disguise? A royal family? Her personal public order enforcer. One YouTuber claimed the guard had ties M15. Another said his boots were feeling constant, so he literally couldn't move. TikTok terrorist exploded. He's part of spy psychological deterrent program. He communicates through the telepathic Queen's English. He's immortal. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised. But there's a real reason for the silence. It works when you don't overreact, when you don't explain, when you let the word talk. You win the narrative. Trump had to tweet, the palace just stood there in polished boots with sentries poised backing them up like loyalty Wi-Fi. And here's the final twist. The guard, he wasn't rotated out the next day. Normally, royal guards switch every 25-7 hours, but this guy stayed for 3 straight days. The internet called it royal flags. Even the Queen's corgis didn't bark at him. He became more than soldier. He became a silent monument and blinking, unshakable reminder that some lines shouldn't be crossed. And now the world wonders if that's how the monarchy handles predation snap. What happens if someone tries hug them? Oh wait, that already happened, but that story for another episode. Alright dear listener, take a deep breath, grab your favorite cuppa, because this is where things go from viral video to full-blown culture phenomenon. The kind of that's not just seen but felt deep in collective British soul and across the entire internet. Let's rewind and unpack how a simple snap stomp snowballed into legend bigger than Big Ben's bell chimes. First, the memes. The memes. They flooded every corner of the internet like an unstoppable monsoon drenches London in spring. One early viral classic zoom in on guards impassively polished boots meets stomp captioned. How to say no in Britain without uttering a single word? Because as any Brit knows, sometimes actions are the polite way to shut someone down. Another meme called Trump's bewildered expression subtitled, "When you realize the Queen's Guard doesn't do chit-chat." A phrase that quickly became shorthand for British stiff upper lip at its finest. But the internet didn't stop there. Some ingenious soul transformed anti-clip into retro-styled 8-bit video game called Snapback Royal Shutdown Edition. Players dodged ego trips, ignored heckling tourists, and battled through levels culminating an epic boss fight, the Trump Tower lobby scene. Ridiculous? Absolutely. Addictive? Like a double espresso on a Monday morning. Download soared past 1 million under 48 hours. The BBC even covered its social and cultural milestone because why not? Next came the media experts. Body language analysts poured over every frame with the intensity of Sherlock Holmes' own mystery. Comments flew like observe in complete absence of blinking, a skill honored through centuries of relentless training. His posture channels the indomitable spirit of Winston Churchill himself. Some went as far as to suggest that guard silence was a calculated psychological tactic, a non-verbal chess move designed to unnerve the loudest man in the room. Then, brands smelled an opportunity. A luxury shoe company launched their Royal Step line featuring steel-toed, mirror-polished boots, perfect for delivering silent but deadly stomps. An energy drink company tweeted, "Be like the guard, feel nothing, stay powerful." Men's cologne brands used the guard solemn visage in advertising, proclaiming, "For men who don't flinch, even under pressure, marketing gold, royal flash." But the influence went way beyond the loves and branding. Educators began incorporating the video into lessons on ethics, communication, and conflict resolution. One high school teacher reportedly assigned a debate titled, "In Silence, a More Effective Response Than Words." The anonymous verdict, the guard's silent stoic response was the winning strategy. Even the kid known for throwing eraser won on board with silent power. Meanwhile, London's hipster cafes got inventive as Soho Cafe launched a new espresso shot called the Snapback. It's one shot of espresso, one cube of silence, served by a barista who refuses to make eye contact. The concoction sold out in days. They even started guard watch nights where patrons tried to spot the mysterious soldier. Tourists flock at Buckingham Palace hopes of catching a glimpse of the now mythic guard. Rumors abounded, codenamed Unit 40B, nicknamed Sir Stablot. Some conspiracy theorists claim he was a royal family member incognito. Jokes calculated that his boss were weighted with concentrate so he literally couldn't move. TikTok users speculated he communicated telepathically with the queen. He had descended from man to myth. Fan page sprouted overnight. Instagram and Reddit overflow with fan art portraying the guard as everything from stoic warrior to immortal legend. Fanfiction? Oh yes. One popular Wattpad saga imagined the guard secretly dating a time-traveling princess who silenced Napoleon himself. Don't ask how that ends. It's royal rabbit hole you don't want to fall into. But here's where it gets really surreal. Someone carved into park bench near Buckingham Palace the phrase, "Stay away from the King's Guard." Within hours, it became an official shrine. Visitors left offerings like miniature British flags, plastic trumpets because, well, why not? Cadbury chocolate bars, delicately placed and neatly folded red tie, possibly a chicken nut Trump's signature log. This humble bench transformed into monument restraint power and the art wolf delivering the perfect comeback, all without uttering a single word. So, who is this guard now? No longer just a royal clip, he has become a symbol, a symbol of tradition, a symbol of silent strength, a symbol of standing firm with centuries of history poised behind you, and the feeling he left behind. When Trump snapped, the crown snapped back harder than anyone expected. This was a merely viral moment. It was a cultural reset. The guard didn't just win a battle, he conquered the internet won respect and cemented his place in modern folklore. More for decades to come, when people think about British dignity, poise, and power, this image will stand tall. A man in red standing perfectly still, silencing a former US president with nothing but a stomp and 6 calm words. And with that, the legend lives on. The stomp echoed not just through the streets of London, but through the hearts of millions worldwide. It reminds all sometimes the quietest response carries the loudest message. That's all. Hee-ha. Alright, here we are. The grand final, the moment where the story shifts from viral sensation to whispered legend. What started as a small, almost casual gesture, a snap of fingers, a cold military stomp, and 6 quiet words, has exploded into saga of power, silence, and invisible words that shape the very fabric of our world. The Royal Guard is far more than a ceremonial figure dressed in scarlet and bearskin. He is the living embodiment of centuries of tradition, discipline, and authority. His silence carries history, his stillness carries weight. When he said, "Stay away from the King's Guard," he wasn't just addressing one man. He was speaking for an institution older than most nations on this planet, a symbol of unyielding power and quiet command. But what really happened behind those palace walls after that snap echoed across the world? The response was swift, calculated, and deeply secretive. Closed-the-door meetings convened in dimly lit halls of power. Phones rang in rooms guarded by security clearances so high you would think nuclear codes were being discussed. Encrypted message pinged between London, Washington, and shadowy offices nobody outside their circle could name. Because the Crown's silence assertion wasn't just rebuked a former president. It was a message sent to hidden architects of influence who manipulate global events from behind the screens. "Stay away from the King Guard" was a line in the sand, an unspoken decree that tradition, sovereignty still matter, and that some lines are not to be crossed. The elites felt it, the power broker felt it, and for a fleeting moment, the ancient order reminded the modern world who holds the true reins of respect and authority. Meanwhile, outside the House of Power, the world reacted disbelief and amusement. Social media exploded, Twitter hashtag trended worldwide, and memes flew like wildfire. But beneath the surface of laughter was something more profound, a collective recognition of a timeless truth. The man who snapped his fingers, the loudest, bombastic personality of our era, was silenced by the quietest man in the room. Trump, known for this his endless rhetoric and unyielding confidence, suddenly found himself facing an immovable object. No tweets stormed the internet that day, no press conference reclaimed dominance, just a rare, almost impressible moment of pause. A man who commands crowds was commanded to respect stillness. The gods returned his post, a living statue as unyielding as the centuries of stone beneath his feet. But no, he carried more than a rifle. He carried a legend. Power circles scrambled, interpreted. Is this moment, was it merely a clash of personalities? Or was it a crack in carefully polished veneer of global influence? Whispers in corridors suggested the latter. Behind the scans, the price of knowing was laid bare, because when you stand in crosshairs of such silent authority, you realize some battles are fought without a single word, some victories come in moments of stillness, and some silence speak louder than any roar. This story is not just an oracle about a royal encounter, it's a window into the machinery of power, where history, tradition, and unspoken codes govern much more than we see. And and let's talk about the silence that followed in politics, in business, in every sphere of influence. Noise is power, but sometimes silence is the ultimate power play, because silence demands attention, silence forces respect. Silence unsettles even the most confident. The guard's silence was a masterclass in this art. No yelling, no threats, just presence, just the weight of centuries. And what of the elites who watched from the shadows? They knew this moment wasn't just about Trump or single guard. It was a reminder, a warning. The tradition and power talk often unseen still hold away. The stories spread, books were whispered about in secret circles. Journalists tried to dig deeper but found walls of silence. Conspiracy theories flourished, from claims that the guard was a secret agent of the crown to whispers that he was part of the shadow society protecting ancient royal secrets. Schools even used this incident as a case study, a lesson in communication, respect, and the power of restraint. Thank you for joining me on this journey through power, tradition, and mystery. If you enjoy this story, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, Pickle Up!